Europe is at a breaking point today as EU leaders are essentially in emergency talks about what to do to help keep Ukraine funded through 2026 and 2027. And it all circles around one thing: the frozen Russian assets and how to unfreeze that money to give it to Ukraine. Because the mindset here is Russia started this war. We have $300 billion sitting here. Well, Russia should be funding the Ukrainian side to take down Russia. If you don't know, when Russia first invaded Ukraine, the United States and Europe took a bunch of Russian assets and completely froze them. Some of them are physical assets, such as property and boats, and some of them are money sitting in bank accounts. The money that's been sitting in those bank accounts have been accruing interest, or essentially a windfall. That windfall money has been given to Ukraine in terms of loans from other countries. And now, as countries are sitting here saying, hey, we really need to come up with some kind of money, they're now saying, you know what, maybe we should just use the money that windfall is coming from, the Russian assets. And that's where the situation comes in. Supporters of this say that Russia should be paying for all this stuff since they're the ones causing the damage, and they argue that this keeps the pressure onto Moscow instead of European citizens that have to now pay this through their taxes. But Belgium themselves, in which most of the money is housed in, is currently blocking this money from coming out, mostly because of legal reasons. On top of that, they feel, at least the officials in Belgium, that when the war is over, Russia will retaliate, or maybe lawsuits could hit European markets and cause things to be more expensive. And so everything comes now to today in Brussels, in which European leaders are sitting down to vote. Should we give this money to Ukraine, or should we just leave it where it is? But also, if you leave it where it is, where are we going to get the money to help fund everything going on inside Ukraine? Because if we don't find ways to fund Ukraine, then they can't do certain things to protect themselves. Which, as Zelensky even said today, that if we can't find a way to fund Ukraine, then production of drones for Ukraine that Ukraine's doing on their own, it's going to have to be scaled back. In which you know that Russia would take that to their advantage, and whether it is them overproducing or sending more things and Ukraine can defend themselves, and then eventually you get to the point to where if Ukraine falls, then Europe is next. Do you see how this becomes very complicated? And we already see threats from Russia saying that they are going to fight this in court and in arbitration that could make more money because they claim that the profits themselves were illegally seized. But we should be finding out soon in which how they're going to vote. Are they going to be voting towards actually helping Ukraine and giving them what they need and taking their frozen Russian assets? Or are they going to essentially succumb to Russia, who says you can't take our stuff? We'll find out soon.